Let's pray. O Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. Our Heavenly Father, Almighty and everlasting God, who has safely brought us to this place with thy mighty power, light us with thy gracious presence, that all our doings may be ordered by thy governance. We thank you, O Lord, for Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. We thank thee for all senators, coordinators, and members of parliament. We thank you today, great God, for the chairperson and associate of NIDCO, the business community, and burgesses of Gran Chemin and environs, specially invited guests for the master of ceremony. We pray for the labor and skill of those who build, for the amenities and comforts it provides. We thank you that you have placed within the beings of man a desire for aspiration and achievement. Your creative work, great God, has challenged man, thy creator, whom you did create a little lower than yourself, to build and expand and extend the services to his fellow men, that the blessings of convenience and comfort may be available to all, and that from this service, humankind may derive a sense of dependence and brotherhood, community interest, and concern, so seeking to exemplify the Spirit of Christ, who is not only the master builder of faith, but of the framework of economic right and social blessedness. It is in his name that we invoke the divine blessing upon this place through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Ya karibiara kokotuka, dimi jakera kokotuka tamatika, dimi jakera ya karibiara nahora kitane, dimi jakera nahora kitane ikokotuka kitane, dimi jakera hotai di kokotuka tamatika, ya karibiara kokotuka jakera. Almighty God, we praise and we thank you for all gathered here today. We pray for your blessing upon all those who are here. We pray for your blessing of this place, the boats that will be going out at sea, the waters before us, the people gathered here today, the food, the fishes, and all that you have given us. Jakira.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are invited to take your seats. And with that, we thank you both for that invocation, certainly giving us a tone that has been set for the rest of this afternoon. Good afternoon once again, and today we are here to witness a significant milestone for the people of the Moruga community as we officially commission the Gran Chemin Fishing Center. This state-of-the-art modern facility symbolizes growth and progress for Moruga. The completion of this fishing center, which is only in phase 1 of the project, is something that the people of Moruga and surrounding communities should be really proud of. To officially welcome you to this event and provide a project overview, we will have Mr. Herbert George, the chairman of the National Infrastructure Development Company Limited. He will share the story of the Gran Chemin fishing facility. Please let us welcome him to the lectern.
Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Senator the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, Minister of Works and Transport, Senator the Honorable Kazim Hossain, Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fishery, Minister of Education, Madam Gaspi Dolly, other members of Cabinet, Ms. Sonia Francis Yearwood, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport. Ms. Nella Dorica Ali, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. Board members, the President of NIDCO, Ms. Esther Farmer, representatives from various community groups and village councils in Moruga, members of the fishing community, consultants and contractors, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, all. It is with profound pleasure and satisfaction that we at NIDCO stand with you today to deliver this completed facility, the Gran Chemin Fishing Center. It represents another milestone in government's thrust to foster economic growth, improve food security, and deliver rural and indeed transformation to all communities, not only rural. We are deeply satisfied to have been part of this recent attempt to establish this facility, which is part of a larger whole. We are aware that optimal functionality of this facility will occur only after the rest of the project is implemented. I should like to crave your indulgence to ask you to just bear with me as I recall a few historic facts about the Gran Chemin fishing facility to sort of put things into context and for you to better understand what I mean when I say that this is part of a whole and this will never come to realize its optimal performance until the rest is completed. So it was in around 2005 and 2007, the government took steps to build a new fisheries port here at Moruga. The designs were done, but not implemented. Those designs failed to receive the necessary certificate of environmental clearance, CEC. As a result, it could not have been constructed. And if it were to receive EMA's approval and ultimate grant of that CEC, the design had to be reworked. The consultant charged with doing the EIA had to go back and do some additional work. But that did not happen. So things went dormant until 2018, when the project was resuscitated and assigned to NIDCO for managing, designing, and constructing. As I hinted earlier, the whole project is more than this part that we are opening today. Notwithstanding the commodious space, the well-appointed work centers in there, it will not function to its optimum capabilities unless we have that other part. So I want you, to realize that what we are opening today is, well, first of all, the entire project, the whole, consists of two parts. There is a component that deals with the land, so the land side component, and there is one that deals with the seaside component. What we are handing over today is the land side component. And in order to complete the whole, that seaside component must be done as well. So I want to sort of crave your indulgence further and invite you, your attention to the, all right. So I'm trying to get my pointer, right. So invite your attention stateside to the electronic board backdrop behind me, the electronic screen. And that's a smaller one, but that one will be too small for you. And in there, let me see if I can. I'll move this one from here because it's blocking your vision over there. Okay, so I spoke earlier about the land side. So this is the land side that we're going to speak about in a while. And this, all of this, plus this, is the seaside. So what this is showing is this landside part connected via this trestle bridge. All the way out here, it's about 400 meters long. And it connects to an oval harbor, an oval bay. That bay is of the order of 300 meters by 260 meters. It offers safe lay-down areas on these piers here, these finger piers here, for 160 boats. So it was designed with some reserve capacity. Additionally, we have berthing here for 2 of the Coast Guard vessels. And this oval-shaped port, as we are describing it, because you might ask me, well, what about the seas out there? So we have a wave barrier along this leg. Here we have a wave barrier there. That's on the southern leg. And on the northern leg, or the northern section, we have a berm, an armored rock berm. And what that does, it renders the water in here calm and for use by the boaters here at all weathers, in any weather. So that will answer your concern if you are inclined to ask what will happen with the rough seas that you can experience here. Additionally, well, let me just finally tell you that we will have these wharf areas here all the way around. And especially on this side, we have shown some buildings on the wharf area. So we have this area here for the Coast Guard. We have a boat repair shop. We have an area for net repairs and for hanging out nets and what have you. And this area here will be used by the fishermen to land their catch. And having done so, well, of course, it will be transported in here. And I should also tell you that these jetties are wide enough to allow them to be traversed by pickups and what have you. So no longer will you have that problem, fisher folk, sorry, to be correct, politically correct, to land your catch. And you'll be able to get it to the facility that we are opening today. You might then ask me, well, why are we going so far into the sea? Well, we need to do that because if you were to look out there now, you will see that at low tide, the sea is way back. And the water depth, the bathymetry of the area there is very shallow. So I am sure fishermen at this time, they have problems to get their catch in to the shore. That will be something of the past when that second part is implemented. Additionally, the problem that we are having to secure the EIA, was that EMA was very concerned that they did not want any structure there to interfere with the marine benthos, that is with all the little animals and what have you, creatures that live on the seabed. So they didn't want anything there to obstruct that, and they did not want anything to stop the migration of sediment. And in this situation here, sediment goes from east to west. So this must be free so that sediment can move through freely. And as a result of those changes, it was no surprise that the EMA gave, and incidentally, a local consultant, I think it's Coastal Dynamics, eventually secured the CEC for that. So that can be built now. There are no hindrances now for us to go and build it. Well, of course, subject to availability of funds. But I want to return to the facility that we are opening today, or we're handing over today. And if you are interested in some statistics, the facility provides a total flow area, built flow area, of 2,206 square meters. That works out to be about 23,745 square feet. So we're talking about half an acre here. But anyhow, so that is the size of the built flow area. And that area, in that area, we have provided a host of amenities. So there are administrative offices, storage and lockers for 91 seamen, and you'll get to see those areas when we take a tour of the building. So bear that in mind, what I'm telling you, and tell me if you didn't see it when you go on that walk through. Wholesale and retail fish marketing, ice makers and chillers, engine and boat repair shops. So we have some here because, you see, we have to, this thing has to function. So it must have all the parts required, notwithstanding that some of those facilities will be extended when we do the seaside part. So we have water storage. I think we have 20,000 gallons of water stored on site for both use, potable water, and we also have fire water along with a pump. We have an electric generator, a wastewater treatment plant, and we have, of course, the external works, which include pavements, drainage, car park installs. We have 52 of those, and rock armoring along the southern coastline, southern to this facility here. And there are kitchenettes as well. There is a paint shop for the boat repairs, and there are, of course, washrooms. And I want to tell you that in all cases, the material was selected so as to provide good resistance against the environmental degradation that is bound to happen because of the very corrosive environment in which this, this facility is situated. That is the sea blast. The total cost of this phase of the project was $66,101,051. In conclusion, therefore, permit me to express our profound gratitude and appreciation for the support that we got from our line ministry in delivering this project. Support that enabled us to complete despite the many challenges encountered along the way. So I thank the line minister and by extension his ministry for assisting us. We also say thanks to the consulting team of Design Works, Karen Group Limited, Stages, and Jameson and Associates Limited. We say thank you further to these two consultants who were involved in the seaside component. They are, as I said before, Coastal Dynamics Limited. They are the ones who did the EIA and caused us to get that CEC. And, well, I don't know who is more important here. And our designer, Aaron Butch and Associates Limited. He did the conceptual designs on which the EIA was based and to secure the, to enable us to secure the CEC. Contrast that with what happened before. The designer did conceptual design, and it was, it couldn't pass the bar, so we couldn't get the CEC. So we say thank you to all those consultants whom I have mentioned. We want to also thank all the specialist subcontractors who were engaged in executing of this project, leading to project delivery. And finally, I hesitate to do that, but I want to single out Engineer Devon Rampasad. Yes. He's one of our project managers at NIDCO. Devon, forgive me for not knowing your complete official appellation, but he is an engineer, so that's why I say engineer, and he's from NIDCO, so that is true. And he was in charge here, and I don't know how he did it. So I was told that he had rented a property down here, and he was resident down here, but that was probably malicious. So Devon left here last night, went up to Sangre Grande, and this morning he was here before everybody. So Devon, we thank you for standing in the gap for us on this occasion. And finally, I want to just thank all the other team members at NIDCO for withstanding the heat and burden of the day and delivering another high-quality project, which we are proud to hand over to you today. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you for that great deal of insight into the project, Chairman. We completely appreciate not just the phase that we are launching today, but those to come, as we have context and appreciation for all of it. At this point, though, we will take the opportunity to celebrate the youth of Moruga, as we will welcome a performance from the Moruga Secondary School Band, who will entertain us with a medley of instrumental songs. Feel free to applaud them, of course. I understand that today's performance is meant to infuse drums from across the nation, as we are very ethnically diverse. And so we will hear quite a bit from the band that has performed at Prime Minister's Best Village competition, Sandfest, and a few others. And this afternoon, the ensemble features students from Forms 1 all the way to 5. So I encourage you to enjoy the Moruga Secondary School Band as they entertain us this afternoon. Moruga Secondary School students giving us a good taste of our culture and letting us know that there is no shortage of talent here in Moruga. As they take a moment to clear the stage, let's give them another round of applause, please. And I know I wasn't the only person that was startled by their start, but it certainly gave us a good jolt. That's the energy that we need, because our next speaker brings great energy. We now invite to the lectern Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Schoon, Minister of Trade and Industry, to deliver remarks on the importance of boosting trade and the opportunities that are present with the commissioning of this new facility. Welcome, Minister Gopi-Schoon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And let me recognize, firstly, of course, our Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. A huge welcome to Moruga Tableland. And my colleague, Senator the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, the Minister of Works and Transport, Senator the Honorable Kazim Hussein, the Minister of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries, Dr. the Honorable Nayan Gatsby Dolly, Minister of Education, my Senator the Honorable Richie Sukai, my friend in the Senate, Minister in the Ministry of Works and Transport, Senator the Honorable Avinash Singh, and you would have seen him down here with me many times, Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries. My colleague Donna Cox has arrived. Donna Cox, Senator the Honorable Donna Cox, you know her, Minister of Social Development and Family Services. Welcome. I also must recognize the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Transport, Sonia Francis Weirwood, also the Minister of the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries. Neela is here. Neela Dwarika Ali. I also saw the Deputy PS from the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries. Pastor Awfully Grantham, your counselor from Lengua Indian Walk. Mr. Herbert George, Chairman of the Board of Directors of NITCO. Ms. Esther Farmer, President of NITCO. All of you representatives from various community groups and village councils in Moruga. Members of the fishing community, all of the consultants, the contractors, and so on. I'm going to say especially invited guests, but there's somebody I want to single out, you know. I am taking the chance here. The prospective candidate for the PNM in Moruga Tableland. Lisa Atwater, better known as Miss. Not Miss how she named, Miss, from Moruga Tableland. And all of those wonderful students you've just seen on this stage, well, I'm sure she's all part of that culture in that school and in the communities here as well. So members in media, all ladies and gentlemen, and really I'm delighted to be here at the commissioning of this Gran Chemin fish facility. It is a momentous occasion for all of us here in Moruga, and of course for the fisher folk, for all of the communities, wider Moruga. I'm seeing people here from Gran Chemin, from Laloon, Marak, yes, from Abaste, people from Lengua, etc. And you all can benefit from this. But we've all been eagerly awaiting this facility, and therefore I must thank NITCO and the Minister and the Ministry of Works and Transport for really delivering on this project. And what a beautiful and well-curated facility it is. Thank you, Minister. And of course, I remember coming down here in, I think it was 2020, to Moruga. At that time, I was not a regular visitor. But that's when works commenced for this project. And I was thinking about this and putting my words together. I fondly remember, and I'm sure you all remember someone who was here when we turned this stud, right? Or then Honorable Franklin Can. Frankie, who was so closely connected to Moruga and all of the people here. At that time, I didn't have much of a connection to the constituency. I was here as a P&M minister with responsibility for trade, and of course, very interested in ensuring that there's development trade-wise and business-wise across all of Trinidad and Tobago, including rural communities as well. But now, I think I have a direct connection with the people of Moruga Tableland, and I'm happy always to be down here. So, Mr. George explained all about this fish facility, and what I want to emphasize is that it's not just a place to buy and sell fish. Yeah? It's an industry that can grow and that we want to grow, and it's the reason why we have the investment in Moruga. It's a safe space where an industry can prosper, but also it's a space beyond storage, but it's a space that allows for people who have or who can attain particular skills. For instance, boat mechanics who can do all of fix all of the boats and do repairs and so on. Painters, all of those involved in the fiberglass business as well. Anybody who can do anything to spruce up a pirogue. Or let's not forget those persons who can be involved in upholstery and who can then install new seats and benches on vessels and so on. So it is an opportunity, apart from those who are directly involved in fishing, for other persons with other skills. And I can tell you that something that I'm going to speak to my colleague ministers about is to ensure that we have some kind of preparation for skills development in all of the auxiliary areas, so that there would be a range of opportunities coming out of this facility. Now, Mr. George also told us about the second phase of the project that will really give full functionality to this space, and therefore, as Minister of Trade and Industry, I want to say to you that in the short to medium term, I want to ensure that there are other initiatives, apart from what I mentioned before, coming out of here. In other words, there's opportunity for fish and seafood processing. And therefore, the women and other people, young people as well, get involved in understanding what is involved in the making of fish patties, etc. And I'm going to ensure again that these kinds of courses are offered here, because what you want to look at is the value added and what else you can do with the fish and the seafood that is caught here. So those are the kinds of things that you must have your eyes fixed on. And of course, we want to look forward to the ability to also export, package and export our fish, right, out of Trinidad and Tobago. But even for so now, all of the supermarkets around here in San Fernando, we can package and ensure that there's fish that is available fresh from Moruga, from this Gran Chemin facility into those supermarkets on a daily basis. Fresh fish and also frozen fish as well. So that Moruga, you are known for a lot of things, your rich history, fishing, and also agriculture. And this is why the government has moved to capitalize on and implement a number of projects that are aimed at developing both the agriculture and the fishing sectors. And we took this one step further with the development of what I call an economic space, the Moruga Agro-Processing and Light Manufacturing Park. And that was launched in 2020. It's the first of its kind, and we chose to put it here in Moruga. And that park allows for the processing of raw materials and intermediate products originating from agriculture and forestry and fisheries. And to date, we built 6 factory shells. All 6 factory shells are taken. And this is contrary to the noise that you hear outside there from another source. All 6 factory shells are accounted for, including of the 6 lots that are available. 2 of them are taken, and there are another 4 that are also available. That was an investment of $19.6 million. And what we expect is that once all of the shells and the lots are fully optimized, that we will have at least 70 persons employed there. So right now, what we have there are agro-processors, performing a number of activities, including controlled greenhouses, hydroponics, right there, iFarms is there, indoor vertical farming, and of course, and cocoa, gourmet dates, also vegetables, root crop, pepper, and ginger processing, all of that going there. So whilst creating jobs for persons working within those spaces, they are also, the owners of those facilities are also purchasing local crops from farmers in the areas. And we want to see a little bit more of those kinds of synergies, ensuring that those crops are available in the quantities and the quality that are required for further processing. And there are a number of other sustainable development initiatives with respect to farmers under the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries, and I'm sure Minister may tell us a bit about that, as well as for the youth through the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. So some of our youth, I'm well aware, have already benefited from these programs, and I can call the names. But what we're expecting, and I had a conversation with the minister about it, that there definitely will be initiatives brought directly to Moruga and environs. And by that I mean actual shade house projects to be done right here in Moruga, in all of the villages around here. So what you see is the government having a holistic plan for the sustainable development of Moruga and ensuring that their industries well settled around all of the villages. Again, another testament to creating opportunities for employment and overall the prosperity of all of our communities. For all of these plans to work, what we must ensure, and I'm sure you'll all agree with me, is that there must be the right adequate infrastructure and road network. And I'm pleased that through the Ministry of Works and Transport and the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, there is continued improvement to the road infrastructure in Moruga. And I want to commend the Ministry of Works and Transport in particular for the expediency in attending to the various landslips along the main thoroughfare. And I'm sure if you have driven down through the Kaship area, just in close proximity, you would see that there are about 3 landslips that are being given attention to at this time. And to go hand in hand with the development of industries, the available of the reliable utilities like water, electricity, and telecommunications. I see that the chairman of, the deputy chairman of WASA is here. Thank you for coming. And again, with our whole of government approach, we are continuing to address all of these issues in order to create a Moruga in which everyone has access to all of the basic amenities. And I can tell you with respect to water, my colleague, the Minister of Public Utilities, Honorable Marvin Gonzalez, is not here, but his team of from WASA, they're here, and they have presented to you quite recently some of the short, some of the medium and long-term plans to boost water supply for the area. And those of you from Edward Trace, anybody from Edward Trace here? Yeah? You'll realize that there's drilling on at this time. Yeah, I hope you've seen it. There's a drilling of a well in Edward Trace, and then they're looking at other areas to drill as well. And there are several other initiatives on the way. And of course, before that, you would have known about the booster station, which was placed in Laloon, not far from here, to feed into Laloon, John Joe, Marak, and all of those communities. And there, of course, you know of the activity as well that has been done in Samuel Cooper and its environs. So, as I close, again, I want to re-emphasize your strong cultural history. But there are a lot of attractions in Moruga that we must pay attention to, and I think they would give rise to further opportunity for business activity, like your Moruga Beach, and of course your very scenic Trinity Hills and so on. Very rich biodiversity in Moruga. And I think, therefore, you are all geared up for ecotourism tourism destination. I want to make sure that we have these conversations with my colleague, Minister Randall Mitchell, and ensuring that we really further these opportunities for the benefit of all of the communities. I mean, community development, as I speak, is driven by a government that truly cares about its people and makes every opportunity to improve their quality of life. And this is why this project the fishing facility, and also the Moruga agro-processing facility. They are important to communities, creating, again, as I said before, opportunities for employment, opportunities for driving local communities forward. And this government recognizes that and will continue to create programs and implement strategies with a view to building thriving communities, particularly in the rural areas. Moruga, your potential is limitless, and the government is here to support you. But it can't be one-sided. You have a responsibility as well to avail of everything that is on offer for you. All of the things I spoke about and more that will come to you. I want to encourage you to be growth-minded, right? And to utilize these facilities that are there for you so that you can benefit from the endless possibilities that are there. Utilize it, this facility, take care of it, and make sure that it works for you and for your family. Again, as I close again, I want to thank NIDCO, Ministry of Works and Transport, for seeing this project to the end. And of course, also Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries. We are going to continue to work in collaboration with the fishermen and the people of Moruga to ensure that this facility is a resounding success. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Minister Gobi-Schoon. Always an enormous enthusiast for collaboration and, of course, sustainable development, so that we look forward to the initiatives that you alluded to that you will speak with your colleagues on. But before we continue, because we do need to have a little bit of housekeeping, the driver of PDM 5661, please move your vehicle immediately. You are situated very much in the space where we need to do our ribbon cutting very soon. So please move your vehicle as quickly as possible. That is PDM 5661. As we continue, though, next we will have the senator who is a gentleman of many words, I know this evening, giving us even more insight into collaboration and all the fruit that it will bear. We have Senator the Honorable Kazim Hussain, the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. As under his ministry and leadership, the ministry has launched several initiatives aimed at buttressing our agricultural sector. These include the Agro-Incentive Grant, the Youth Fast Track Agro-Incentive Program, and the processing of aquaculture incentive claims, all designed to support and empower our farmers and fisher folk. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the lectern Minister Kazim Hussain.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum and Sitaram. Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Senator the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, Minister of Works and Transport, Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Schoon, Minister of Trade and Industry, my colleagues, Dr. Nayan Gatsby-Dolly, Minister of Education, Senator the Honorable Richie Sukai, Minister in the Ministry of Works and Transport, my colleague in the ministry, hard-working Senator Avinash Singh, Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, other members of Cabinet, my colleague traveled from Maraval straight down here, Senator Donna Cox, other members of Cabinet, Ms. Sonia Francis, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Transport, Ms. Neela Dorika Ali, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, and the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Mr. Denny Dipchan Singh, Mr. Herbert George, Chairman and Board of Directors of the National Infrastructure Company Limited, and members of the Board of NIDCO, Ms. Esther Farmer, President of NIDCO, representatives from various community groups and village councils in Moruga, members of the fishing community, consultants, contractors, specially invited guests, members of the media. It is always a pleasure for me to be in Moruga, always. I was here when we returned the sod in 2020, and last night I got a call from a special lady in the audience. They call her Miss. And she's always smiling and she's well dressed, colors coordinated, very good. She called me and she said last night, "You're a Muslim, and I want you to come to Moruga to perform the Jummah prayer. And I want to thank you. When I went to the mosque today, I don't know if they was going to placard me, but everybody came out and they want to support you. So through me, they will support you." As I said, I remember standing on this very ground back in 2020 when the Honorable Prime Minister turned the sod to start this project. Back then, I was the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, envisioning a top-class facility, but I can say now that this has exceeded my expectations. Today, I have the honor of returning with the Honorable Prime Minister, and as I am in the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, to officially receive this said facility, a modern, well-equipped space that will support the hard-working fisher folk of Moruga and surrounding communities. No project of this magnitude is achieved without vision, leadership, and dedicated collaboration. And for this, I must take the opportunity to express sincere gratitude to those who played an instrumental role in moving this facility to realization today. First and foremost, heartfelt appreciation goes out to our Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, for his vision and leadership, his commitment to national development and rural advancement, and the employment of fishing communities has been unwavering. It was his foresight that this project is in motion today. We see the results of that leadership. Special thanks to my colleague, the hard-working Minister of Works and Transport, and his other minister in the Ministry of Works, Mr. Richie Sukai, and NITCO, for transforming the state-of-the-art fishing facility here today. This facility will not be possible without the collaboration of the stakeholders. As we stand on this threshold of the new chapter in this community, we acknowledge the collective efforts that have been made possible today. Fishing has long been a way of life in Moruga, contributing to food security, economic growth, and sustaining generations of families. This facility stands as a testament of our government's commitment to investing in the fishing sector, ensuring that our fisher folk have the resources, infrastructure, and support needed. With 29 bona fide fishing vessels at Gran Chemin and 56 in Larafin, we estimate that 170 fisher folk will be using this facility to ply their trade. Beyond the fisher folk themselves, the site will also serve 20 workers, including vendors, gear and vessel makers, among others who play an equally important role in the fishing sector. The Ministry of Agriculture is responsible for more than 25 fishing landing sites throughout the country. Through the Public Sector Investment Program and the Infrastructure Development Fund, we are actively investing in refurbishment of upgrade works. Some are currently under construction today. In Blanchisseuse, in 2025, Phase 1 is valued at $869,000. 2 additional phases estimated at $3.6 million. La Follette construction in 2025 also. Claxon Bay, Las Cuevas, Bonesse, Brickfield, Otahiti, Balandra, and Matlot. And I am saying this because we at the Ministry of Agriculture and the government at large takes this business serious about agriculture, land, and fisheries. These investments enhance productivity, improve hygiene and safety standards, and ensure long-term sustainability of the fishing sector. As with all things with proper management, good intentions, and first-class facilities can only last so long. It is in this light that the ministry has taken necessary steps to entrust our National Agricultural and Development Corporation, NAMDEVCO, and I see Chairman Wade Innes here and the CEO, Ms. Nirmala D.B. Singh. And I want to thank you all at NAMDEVCO for ensuring that you continue to maintain and ensure these fishing sites are clean and accessible to the public. However, infrastructure alone is not enough. We must also modernize the legal framework that governs the fishing sector. The Fisheries and Management Bill, where we engage with fisherfolk, industry stakeholders, and experts to ensure their voices are heard during extensive sessions. We have support for beyond infrastructure, we have support for all fisherfolks. The ministry offers various support programs to help fisherfolk reduce costs and increase sustainability through the Agricultural Incentive Program for marine fishers, a range of subsidies to supply the fisherfolk in maintaining and upgrading their vessels, their vehicles, fuels, etc. This includes financial assistance for the replacement or acquisition of new and used vessels with the support of the ministry. Through the Caribbean Fisheries Training and Development Institute, CFTDI, the government provides certification programs in seamanship, navigation, and vessel operation, safety at sea and first aid, sustainable fishing practices, cold storage, and fishing processing. And we will ensure that this program from the Caribbean Fisheries will be coming onto Moruga, into this facility, and training these fishermen free of charge. You could give them a round of applause. So we are taking this very serious. And in conclusion, I would like to encourage the users of this facility, the hard-working men of the Moruga fishing community, to use it wisely, maintain it diligently, and let it be the foundation for even greater success. We at the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries remain committed to continuing the work necessary to protect, enhance, and advance this vital industry. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you again, Minister, for sharing those remarks, giving us some more value and understanding as to how this collaboration is going to benefit Moruga and the country at large. At this point, we will entertain you once more with a performance from someone who literally welcomed me as she said, "I am home." It is an absolute delight, as I have had the pleasure of hearing her works before, to welcome Shakira Burton, the current title holder for the 2024 First Citizens National Poetry Slam Competition. You can applaud, because it is your own. Now today, Shakira will be delivering a piece that has been specifically crafted to commemorate the memorable occasion that we are observing today. So listen closely. Her messages are potent, her delivery phenomenal. And so I'd like you to welcome to the stage, Shakira.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. I like to be up close and personal when I speak, so excuse me for disrupting the chronological order of things, but I look at people in their faces when I speak. Yes? So sit back, relax, and enjoy. But first, let us test the energy levels. Moruga? Moruga, how you feeling? Nah, man. Moruga, how you feeling? Nice. I grew up in the deep country. Where I come from, we call it Victoria County, laying 28.5 kilometers away from Princestown, nestled deep in the heart and soul of the South, is the community of Moruga talking about. Well known for our hot pepper, garlic, and historical significance. Right now is the moment, and today is the chance to officially say, welcome to Moruga. This is an opportunity for country to meet civilization, where human resource will meet production. With this new fishing center, Gran Chemin will sing a new song. The rhythm of Moruga will ring loud. For job opportunities are here, and Moruga is the place to be. Let me welcome you to my community of Moruga. This is a moment for young people to see progress, success, and achievements in the community of Moruga, from La Rafine to Rock River, from Beaujolais to Bastia, even Kachip, wanna catch a taste of this grand opening success and call it a moment in history. Today, you and me get to be a part of something beautiful, to say I was there when the fishing center in Gran Chemin opened. Moruga is a wonder to behold, more than just a whole field of weed, but a whole bag of success. A community filled with greatness. Teachers, nurses, doctors, sports icons like Zanel Maskell, Marissa Aguilera, Curvon, Cooper, Lisa. Whatever note Trinidad have, Moruga have it sweeter. Talk about natural medication, herbs, fever grass, and midwife assistance. Community, camaraderie, and a little obia in between. Moruga is the perfect definition of a balanced environment. And now, we have a fishing center to add to our list of achievements. May we no longer be referred to as behind God back. They go say, Moruga have a fishing center? And I go and say, yes, we have that. We have the Cocoa Estate, Springbridge, Hill Rice, and citrus like that. Wherever you could think about, Moruga have. Come now, man. Let me welcome you to my community of Moruga. Let me welcome you to my community of whatever it is that could think about. I say Moruga have. Let me welcome you to my community of Moruga. Citrus, Hillras like that. Whatever you could think about. I want to hear you say that. I want to hear you say. I'm not moving on to the next line until I hear everybody say Moruga have. Nice. May we no longer be referred to as behind God back. Let me hear everybody say Moruga have. So I am proud of my geographical location. And when they ask me where I am from, I will hold my chest tall, and without a doubt, I will proudly say I from Moruga. South. But if you want me to be more specific, is Moruga talking about? From tradition to transformation, this is a new era for the community of Moruga. Stand with me, everybody, side by side. Ministers and members of cabinet, put your hand over your chest. Moruga is my community. Thank you, everybody.
And now you understand why she's the champ. I saw some people shuffling their seats ready to stand when she said, stand with me. And I would let it happen, I mean, by all means. We certainly felt that pride, and we tremendously appreciate your talent and your efforts. So let's hear it again for Shakira. A tough act to follow, but our next speaker has dedicated his efforts to the enhancement of infrastructure, fostering economic growth, and ensuring equitable access to opportunities in alignment with the government's strategic vision for the positive transformation of Trinidad and Tobago. Senator the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, Minister of Works and Transport, can be described as one of the hardest working ministers that has a vested interest in the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, before he makes his way to the stage, I'd like to ask that your attention is directed towards the screens for a very short presentation.
Nestled on the tranquil south coast of Trinidad lies Moruga, a picturesque fishing village steeped in history and cultural richness. Once home to the island's earliest settlers, Moruga today is a thriving community of fishing and agriculture with boundless potential. Through strategic investments, the government of Trinidad and Tobago is working to transform and develop Moruga. In 2020, the Moruga Agro-Processing and Light Industrial Park was commissioned, positioning this agricultural community as a powerhouse in the sector. This initiative underscores Moruga's role in revitalizing economic activity and wealth creation. Today, the spotlight shines on the Gran Chemin Fishing Center, a state-of-the-art facility that embodies progress while preserving Moruga's natural beauty. Perched along the Gulf of Paria, this center is more than a building. It symbolizes development and growth. With 16 retail and wholesale fish market stalls, over 90 storage units, chillers, cold storage, and specialized facilities like an engine repair room and net repair stations, this center is tailored to meet the evolving needs of the fishing industry and is built to support large-scale commercial growth, ensuring environmental sustainability thanks to natural ventilation and solar-powered lighting.
What I like about the facility is that what it will bring to the community. If you walk across on the other side where we have our old facility, you will see why it is. This was so needed. When visitors come to Moruga, they're sure they know which part they could go and get a fresh fish. The boat repair space that we have here, we never had nothing like that before. When guys have to repair, they have to repair in the sun, in the rain. So it brings in a whole lot of comfort to the fisherman as well. Moruga is really dominated by fishing and agro. And we see that they done set up an agro processing plant a little higher up the road. It is St. Mary's Village out there. Having a facility like this, and then you're having a processing plant not too far away. The both of them could work together. Probably we could start seeing the idea as not really selling the fish as a raw product. You see, as making fish paste, fish flakes. So it could generate ideas. It could generate opportunity. So something like this is a plus anyhow you look at it for a community like this, a very peaceful and quiet fishing community. This is just one phase. What we're looking forward to is the completion of our fishing port. To the offshore infrastructure, we'll have access to our gas, which will ease a lot of stress and bring a big relief to the fisher folks and to the community at large.
The development of Moruga's fishing industry is just beginning. The next phase will bring even greater opportunities for fishermen and the community.
In phase 2 of this project, the people of Moruga will witness the build-out of the Gran Chemin Fish Port offshore facility. A sheltered offshore port, this suspended structure will include an approaching jetty, Coast Guard base, safe and convenient berthing for over 130 pirogues, fuel station for pirogues, boat lift for pirogues, just to mention a few. This project is intended to expand and support the fishing industry by creating sustainable employment opportunities.
The development of the Moruga fishing community is a top priority. The Gran Chemin fishing facility represents a vision that improves the lives and livelihoods of the people of Moruga while positioning the community as a viable contributor to the country's economic diversification strategy. From tradition to transformation, a new era for Moruga.
Thank you. And that is what this government vision for Moruga is. Bringing that level of commerce and comfort to your community. Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, my colleague, Senator the Honorable Kazim Hussein, Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, my colleague, Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi Schoon, Minister of Trade, my colleague, Minister of Culture, Ms. Donna Cox, Minister of Social Development, Donna Cox, Minister of Education, Nayan Gasby Dolly, Minister in the Ministry of Works, Senator Rishi Sukai, Senator in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Avinash Singh, permanent secretaries, members of the Moruga community, members of the media, special invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have heard a lot today, so I will not burden you because I know you all want to hear from the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. However, my task, and I'm speaking not from what they gave me to speak about, is to speak to you, the people of Moruga. Today, I'm pleased to be part of the team that delivered this wonderful fishing facility here. But I must remind you that how you vote will determine your future. And I say that on the background that this project was conceptualized under a Patrick Manning administration, a PNM government, way back in 2005, 2007. This project was supposed to be started around that time. Unfortunately, this project went to sleep in 2010. You voted a certain way in Moruga Tableland, and unfortunately, the government between 2010 and 2015 saw no need for the future development in Moruga. That is why in 2018, the Honorable Prime Minister insisted that coming out from our Vision 2030 statement, Moruga was one of the places that we earmark for serious development and future growth. That is why we started the agro-processing plant in Moruga, because we recognize you have to develop a region based on what is the natural resources of the region. And we recognize Moruga, the agro-processing, the fishing infrastructure had to take center stage. And that is where the journey started. I am happy that we could deliver the first phase of this project to you. And the second phase of this project, which will bring the full project into use, Cabinet have already approved the second phase, because some people think that that can't happen when they look at the magnitude of that project. Some people said that no, that is just an election promise. Well, Cabinet have already approved the second phase, and NITCO have already tendered out parts of the second phase to close sometime in March of this year. So I want to give you, the people of Moruga, the assurance that once you exercise your right and you vote the right way, nobody will stop this project. And I'm saying that because as Minister of Works and Transport, and with the assistance of NITCO, we did a lot of work for a project similar to this in Tobago, where a marina was supposed to be done in Tobago by people exercising their legal right and democratic right. Another government took charge of the Tobago House of Assembly, and unfortunately, the project was canceled. After a lot of money and a lot of time was spent, on getting the different approvals and the designs. That is why I started by saying exercising your democratic right is very important as to your future. I would love to see this project come to fruition where phase 1 and phase 2 can be completed. I know that is a priority for this government. I cannot guarantee you that that will be a priority for any other government. That is your choice, Moruga Tableland. To speak a little bit about the infrastructure, again, this government in 2018 would have approved for us a program for the improvement of the infrastructure in Moruga. Cabinet approved, I think it would have been about, the initial approval was $175 to $180 million to upgrade the Moruga Road and some of the infrastructure that needed upgrading. Unfortunately, when that project started, we started with 21 landslips. 21 landslips, and I think we had 4 bridges and 22 culverts to change, and I think it would have been about 12.5 kilometers of road repavement. To date, we have done 77 landslips, completed about 60, and about 17 or 18 still ongoing. That is to tell you the magnitude of the infrastructure that has to be upgraded. And we cannot just run from the fact that we do have challenges in Moruga with our infrastructure, mainly because of the soil type that we have. As I said, we started identifying 21 landslips, and as we go on, within a space of 5 years, we are up to 77. But I give you the assurance that all will be attended to. Cannot all be done at the same time, because we do work with budgets, and we do have challenges in terms of logistics, and so you can't start 10 landslip at the same time, and you'll have to cut off the entire village. So as you drive down the road, you'll see we have 8 active contracts now on areas that would have developed over the last couple of years. From this program, we are going to go to Cabinet for another program to deal with some of the secondary roads in Moruga, because we know those roads also need attention. And we're hoping to have a program for the secondary roads coming very shortly. However, there are reasons why we have these challenges. Some of the reasons are, well, we know the major problem we have here is the soil type, which we can't do much about. However, what is the greatest enemy to that soil type is really water. Water. But the sort of rainfall that we've been getting over the last couple of years, that have made the situation a little worse. Because what you have happening is, during the rainy season, a significant amount of rain. And in the dry season, the place is so hot that the cracks open. So it's really a combination. Some people say it's okay, it's climate change, whatever it is. We have challenges on the soil. What we recognize as well in Moruga is that a lot of the homes do not carry guttering. And I'm speaking with my colleague to see how we can create a program to assist some of the homeowners who, could use a means test or something to assist them in actually getting guttering and tanks. Because we feel that is a major contribution to some of the landslips that we're getting. We also have a little challenge with, when we look at how people do agriculture and they cut and burn on the roadside, that also contributes to some of the landslips that we create. And again, I'll speak to the Minister of Agriculture as to how we can work with the farmers so that while the short-term crops are coming in and things, it is good for us, the infrastructure is also protected. So this evening, I want to tell Moruga Tableland, the Ministry of Works and Transport, we are here with you. We identify the challenges that you have. We are going to work with you to ensure that Moruga, like all the other communities in Trinidad and Tobago, will not be left behind. Again, I want to thank NIDCO for a great job that they did on this project. This project took a little while. We had some challenges, but the president, the chairman, and the team at NIDCO did a wonderful job to bring this project to completion within the budget. okay, within the budget. So thank you, NITCO. Thank you for the patience, Moruga. And you will be seeing and hearing a lot from the Ministry of Works in the coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Sinanan, for that contribution and for your continued service. We truly appreciate it. But without further ado, it is time for our feature address. This coming from Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. His unwavering dedication to rejuvenating Trinidad and Tobago's economy and reinstilling trust, fairness, and social equality within the nation is a hallmark of his leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome to the lectern Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to acknowledge especially those people who have come from the other end of the nation. Because as you know, we are a very large country. And it takes a while to get to Moruga from Diego Martin. So I want to start by acknowledging my cabinet colleagues. We have with us, you just heard from the Minister of Works and Transport, Senator Rohan Sinanan. We also have, you would have heard from the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, this being a fisheries project, Haji Honorable Kazim Hussein, Senator Rishi Sukai, Minister in the Ministry of Works and Transport. We also have Senator Avinash Singh, Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture. And if I cast my eye around the crowd here today, I see the Minister of Public Utilities, the waterman, Sir Marvin Gonzalez. And coming all the way from Matlot, the Member of Parliament, Mr. Roger. Roger, you came all the way from Matlot, right? Welcome to the other side of the country. Roger Monroe, Member of Parliament for Toko-San Grande. We also have with us here today, as you would have heard, the vibrant, the energetic, the youthful Paula Gopi-Skoon, who is ensuring that Moruga Tableland is put on the map of government of Trinidad and Tobago. And educating our children, some of whom you heard, sharing with us the creative music here today, the Minister of Education, Mrs. Nyan Gatsby-Dolly. And I would like to acknowledge the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Transport, Ms. Sonia Francis Yearwood, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Ms. Neela Dorika Ali, and the people who actually got the work done, led by Mr. Herbert George, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the National Infrastructure Development Company and members of his board, Ms. Esther Farmer, President of NIDCO, representatives of the various community groups and village councils in Moruga, members of the fishing community, consultants and contractors, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is one of the very special days that the Lord has made. Let us glory in it. I am so happy to be able to be here with you today to take delivery of the first part of this phenomenal project. You see, those of us in the capital city and in the east-west corridor and elsewhere, we sometimes, if we're not careful, tend to believe that the country is what is in front of our eyes and what we interact with on a daily basis. And if we are not careful, we can easily forget that there are other equally important, equally attractive, equally productive areas of the country away from the urban centers. And you here in Moruga, you are exposed to that, but not while the PNM is in office. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you a little bit today about what we're doing here, but I have to give you a joke. Remind you about a joke. You remember there was a president called Dan Quayle, and he went to a school, and he asked the children to come up and spell a word or two. And the little boy came up, and he asked the boy to spell potato. The little boy spelled his potato, P-O-T-A-T-O, and walked off with great aplomb. And Quayle grabbed him and come back and said, "Haven't you forgotten something there?" And Vice President Quayle took the chalk and wrote an E at the end of potato. He was then known after as Potato Quayle, because potato had no E at the end. So then they asked the little boy, "Did you think that you were right and he was wrong?" The boy said, "Yes." "And how come you just accepted it?" And the boy said, "Well, he is vice president and all, so I leave him." And that's how I feel today about a video I saw this morning, where while we are trying to build a future for you, you somehow have a leader in this part of the country who could do two things. One, burn tire, and two, take issue with the absence of a D. Because the big event on the other side about this business is that Gran Chemin doesn't have a D. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a French component to our history. I am from Tobago, from Mason Hall. Right next to me is the village of Le Coteau. In fact, some people even call it Lesquito. But it's a French phrase meaning Le Coteau, the knives. And if you go around the corner a little past Arnesville, you come to a beautiful bay, which many of you have never been to because there's no road into that bay. But the bay is there. If you walk into it, it's called Anse Fromageur, the cheesemaker bay. And of course, I wonder what issue they would take with the spelling of that little village down the road called Bon Jean Jean, where Bon means wood and Jean is John. And ladies and gentlemen, that at the end of looking for something to criticize us for, the best they could have come up with is the misrepresentation of something saying that a D is missing. No D is missing. It's a French word. It's called Gran Chemin. It means the main way, big highway, because this was the main track along the south coast when the French people were around this part of the country. So you have a choice of Gran Chemin, Gran Chemin, or Gran Chemin. So please, don't let them try to educate you. Let the PNM educate Moruga, as you would have heard from the Minister of Works and Transport, that you have a big, bright future in the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, if I start to talk to you this evening about the economy of Trinidad and Tobago and what we're doing and the main things that we're doing, what will dominate that conversation is the energy sector. And you would know the importance of the energy sector to Trinidad and Tobago because it has done so much for us. Oil, gas, Point Lisas, you know that. But as we rely very heavily on that, exposed to the vagaries of the international market and now the reduction in our own production volumes of those things, you would also have been hearing about the scolding that we are receiving and have been receiving for decades, that we need to diversify the economy. And that word diversify means different. Diversification means doing differently. So it's saying to us, even though the energy sector, oil and gas, has been so good to us and continues to be so good to us and will continue to be so good to us, we are required to look for the rest of our economy, from the rest of our country, from the rest of our ingenuity and entrepreneurial skills to do more and do differently. Meaning that we wouldn't be exposed when things go wrong or go downhill in the energy sector as they do from time to time. We need to have a broader base economy. And that is what drives the government in our Vision 2020, Vision 2030, in our attempt to diversify the economy that forces us, whether we like it or not, to bring Moruga into the national economy of Trinidad and Tobago. The young lady who I must congratulate, who gave us the spoken word there this evening, she spoke about the beauty and the comfort of living in this part of the country. Put a value on that. But you have to make your way as part of the nation. And the nation has to come to you, and together we are stronger. Together we are better. And that is why the government has been systematically investing in bringing Moruga into the national economy. It doesn't come by just saying so or by flicking a switch. It largely comes by building the infrastructure so that the population on the South Coast can be connected to the rest of the nation for more reasons than one. So the road infrastructure, we spent a lot of money. And today I was very pleased, landslide or no landslide, to see the ease with which we got from the north all the way down to the south on a good A-class road. But because of the geology of the area, the soil is always moving in some parts of the southern part of the country. We can't change that. I mean, as I was coming down somewhere, I think it was St. Mary's, I observed there a graveyard where the tombs were actually being left behind by the moving soil behind the school because the land is called mass movement. The land is so, the engineering strength of the rock is so low, the soil is like clay. When it gets wet, it starts to slide away slowly. And here in this graveyard, people have been buried in these tombs, and as the land slides away, you're seeing the tombs just literally precariously being left on top. Somebody might blame the government for that. But the bottom line is, these are geological possibilities. And the main road that comes down here passes through some of that rock. And every so often, especially if you have water lines along the road, if there's any leak at all, small leak or otherwise, the leak begins to soften the rock by adding water underground, and eventually the pipe would break because the weight of the moving rock will break any pipe. And then, of course, you have a major landslide. That's one possibility. So we deal with that. So we spent a lot of money to support the roadway, to rebuild the surfaces, and to keep addressing the landslides as they occur. So you have reasonable access on the main route of the road. And then somebody today did mention the two things that Moruga has going for it. One is agriculture, and the other is fishing. Those are facts. And if that is so, and if the government wants to diversify the economy and to bring the people of Moruga and the communities of Moruga and the entire South Coast into the national economy, to contribute to the national economy, and to grow and to progress, those are two areas that the government must focus on. And you focus by having a vision of infrastructure and people and see what is missing and what you have to add over time. And that is why we spent a significant amount of money providing Moruga with the agro-processing park. This is a magnet. The park doesn't just suddenly begin to turn out food and whatever. It's a magnet that says to the community, the investment community, the entrepreneurial community, the boy and girl who is growing up and say, what do I do in the future? What can I do with my neighborhood? What can I do with my grandfather's land that I've inherited? What can I do with the skill that I've learned to plant and to reap? That if you produce, and you produce a significant amount, at the agro-processing park should be some kind of business that relies on your raw material to produce products that can have a long market life and can be sold either within the nation, within the region, or way across the world, depending on what you produce and how it's packaged and how it is received in the international marketplace. And if you do that, you create opportunities. I understand that as the video was being made, criticizing something they don't know anything about, it was being said that what Moruga needs is more CPEP and more URP. Well, let me tell you all something. You don't need one more of that. What you need is a vision to go and be an entrepreneur and to have raw material produced and to use that park. Because before, when the park was just opened, I was here too for the opening of that. Soon after, I saw my colleague in the parliament after the tires blown out, made a video standing in front of the facility. And rather than saying to the people of Moruga, who she represents, that look what the state has offered you, let's go now and produce. Let's produce pineapple, let's produce beans, let's produce cocoa, let's produce, because this is an incentive to produce. You know what the comment was in that video, the first one? Look what the PNM do, and nothing ain't going on there. That was the sum total of the vision. That we had built this thing, it was only a few months old, the facility is there, modern as it comes, and nothing ain't going on there. Well, I want to encourage you to let something go on there, because the facility is there to call upon you to do something in your cooperative, produce the hill rice, produce whatever can be processed, and let's go and have agriculture, agro-processing in the South Coast to feed the rest of the nation, the rest of CARICOM, and as far away as New York or Greenland. That's what we have to do. I have spoken to the people who supply Kentucky food stuff in our nation. You know, they love that, right? And they tell me they would like to obtain all their pineapple from local sources, because they do import millions of dollars in sliced pineapple that come all the way from Hawaii or elsewhere in the American market, paying for it in foreign currency, providing employment and profit for people outside. But they would love to buy it locally, but they can't rely on a situation locally because one, the volume is not large enough, and two, the supply is not reliable enough. So the easy part of their work is to place an order and import it in a container. Now, if we want to diversify, and if we want to relieve ourselves of being the consumers of other people's effort, what we need to do is to take advantage of the incentives, all the incentives, show that entrepreneurial skill, so that patience, and create on the South Coast a business that does not now exist there, a business where somebody, some people, some organization is saying, we have chosen pineapples as what we will grow, what we will have processed there, and what we will sell in this country. That's how it's done. Nobody's going to come here and hand you a future. You have to take advantage of the opportunities that are here with you that the state invested in. So we did that to spur on agriculture. And I toured an area here and met farmers who were in fact looking at the future in that red hill rice. And I've seen the packaged product, and it's a premium product. We can do more of that, because we can then sell that as a branded novelty item. Good, healthy, whole food. As a matter of fact, there's a chain in North America called Whole Foods. You go in there and see what they're paying for 3 bay leaf leaves. Go in there and see what they pay for rice, like the kind that we're selling here, or quinoa that comes from South America. We got to choose our options and work at it to diversify our economy and to give ourselves a space in that economy, doing something that nature has set there for us that we want to accept with both hands, and let the government not be guilty of not providing the opportunity to encourage you to do it. So that's agriculture. Today is fishing. We are close here to the Columbus Channel that opens out into the Atlantic Ocean. Our surrounding waters, especially close to South America, where we have arrangements with Venezuela, with Grenada, with Barbados, where we can have far more fishing than we have now. But people will tell you the facilities are not there. You go out and you get a big catch from the shoals of fish that come in here sometimes seasonally, because a lot of these fish run in shoals seasonally. Kingfish season, you have your carrot season, you have your ancho and so on. But if you get a big catch, because you put the effort out and you come on shore, all that does is guarantee you a low price because you have too much for the market of the day. But if you have proper fish processing, a big catch means that all of it goes into the market in a particular way and you stabilize your price and you want bigger and bigger catches. Many young men and women in this area can do extremely well if they attach their interest to what's in the sea outside because the sea is yours. The resources out there, they're yours. And if you spend your time investing out there, working out there and bringing in fish, once the fish comes to land, this facility is here to make sure that you get the great benefit of feeding the nation, ensuring our food security, and looking for export outside of the nation. Because one thing about fish, there's a tremendous market for fish across the world. We as a nation, over time, your governments have ensured that we have complied with a whole plethora of international requirements to allow us to qualify to export fish that we catch here into the international market. My first portfolio as a Minister of Government in this country was agriculture and fisheries. And one of the things I had to do was to ensure that we comply with something called TEDS, where North Americans had said to us, you can't sell any fish to us after a certain date if you don't have TEDS. What is TEDS? Turtle exclusion devices. Meaning that when you put your net in the ocean, turtles must be able to escape through the nets as you catch fish. If you don't have that, then you can't export fish out there. At the same token, if you are allowing international raiders to fish in your waters improperly and illegally, and you don't take enough steps to stop them, then you are responsible, and then you will then not be able to export fish products into certain markets. That's why our two Coast Guard vessels, CG-1 and CG-42, when we were buying them, they had a fisheries protection component to their coming into existence. We didn't just buy a boat that could go out and come back, go out in the morning and come back in the evening. Those vessels can spend 28 days out at sea. When they leave Stobles, properly stored, they can spend a month out there patrolling our deep ocean waters to ensure that nobody is stealing our fish and that we qualify. If our fishermen catch that fish, they can sell that fish in North America because we qualify. That's what the government does. That's what we have been doing. With respect to trawling, you know the regulations with that, and you know how difficult it is we have to patrol and to ensure that we don't destroy our beds around the area. You may not know this. We always thought that there was a future in fishing. I graduated from high school a long time ago, and I graduated with fairly good acclamation, and I went straight into the fisheries department. Because at the time, I saw it as an area that held a great future for me. I liked biology. They thought I had a promise. And within a matter of months, I was on a training ship off Eastern Tobago in the Atlantic Ocean, being trained. Those days, the fisheries idea we're talking about was long lining, where you put lines in the ocean with thousands of hooks, and every morning you pull it up and you bring up all kinds of fish. That is what it was about. I was being trained in that. As I speak to you now, go and look at the Trinidad and Tobago Gazette, and you'll see my name in there as a gazetted public official, as a fisheries officer, fisheries assistant, because that was what fisheries held out in the promise. We have more to get from that. Encourage some of our young people. especially those able-bodied young men who have the ability and not being afraid of the sea. Encourage them that there's a future out there, and their on land is a facility waiting for the product. There are facilities that the government make available to you. Improvement in the quality of your sailing stock, your nets, training is available. And of course, we have NEDCO, and as we have NIDCO to build this, we have NEDCO to help you with funding, whatever you want to do in the area. We put all of this together in what we call a whole of government approach. Not just one ministry, not just one arm of the government. The Minister of Education. Young people should be told that they could see a future in our oceans, what they call the blue economy. Some kind of future. Especially that future involves food. Because one thing about food, everybody has to eat at least one meal a day, and some eat 4. But the bottom line is, food is always in demand. So the young people must understand that. And it must be part of their education. The same way I was educated at Bishop's High School, Tobago, and my first grasp was in food production, food from the sea. I ended up doing something else. But the bottom line is the option was always there. The importance is just as it was then, it is so now. You have the Minister of Trade, who is down here encouraging you all to make better choices. And if we are, in fact, catching good fish off the eastern coast and the Columbus Channel, the Ministry of Trade has an interest in that, because we will then begin to want to sell that. There are people who will want to buy that product. The Minister of Agriculture, it is his portfolio that the Fisheries Department, he mentioned to you today about 8 beaches that we are spending some significant money on to improve their facilities and to encourage them. In my own constituency, we have just built the fish fry in Carenage, a fishing village. I look forward to the day when I can leave Port of Spain, drive all the way down here, and meet a restaurant down here selling good kingfish served by the hands of a good Moruga chef. A long drive, a beautiful part of the country, and you end up in a restaurant. Only yesterday, a friend called me, communicated with me, sent me a WhatsApp, literally, well, showing off to me, because I was jealous that they were there. He and his family. I said, where are you? I'm at a restaurant in Vancouver. A restaurant in Vancouver. You know how beautiful it is to sit in Vancouver with the forest all around you, some trees flowering, cool, clear breeze, and you just sit there at a restaurant and enjoy the ambience, enjoy a local dish of some kind, and then you can go back home and say, today, I've enjoyed a piece of my country that 1.32 million did not. You feel good about it. Moruga, you have that possibility. We talk about fishing. Alongside that, we could talk about tourism too, because this South Coast is a beautiful place. And what you will see when this business begins to operate and more people begin to congregate around it, you will see people building rooms where people can come for the weekend. Families can come and be on the beach. While the ocean is not like Pigeon Point, it's a different kind of interaction with the sea. Right? And of course, as you go along the coast at Easter time, it is as beautiful as anywhere in Trinidad and Tobago. These things will be spawned by the fact that this investment is made. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not happening by accident. It's happening by design. The government is spending these monies and building these infrastructure items to generate an interest and hope that you are captivated and that you will do your part by not turning your back on them. Because it makes no sense if we believe that you have no future and you have no ambition and you have no intellect. So when we build this thing, you're still asking for 10 days and CPEP. 10 days have their place. CPEP has its place. But the real future is in having a sustainable arrangement where we use the resources and that you can do better earnings. You can rise to a level where what you put out has a higher value, and then you would be in a better position as you do that You will start building homes, building houses, and then you might get married, you have children to look after, and all of a sudden, the entire South Coast is blooming and blossoming with each one depending on the other one. No one thing stands on its own and be successful. As they say, no man is an island. You require the whole family and the whole community. And you know who guide you in this direction. We have here this afternoon, I must acknowledge, teacher's here with us. Miss Lisa Atwater is here. How many thousands of children would she have mentored throughout her career as a teacher? Because our teachers are so important, saying the right things and doing the right things to our young people. And of course, she must get an extra chair for offering herself for additional service. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you, we are all in this together. And together, we are stronger. And this part of our country is one of those parts which is now opening up and receiving the infrastructural investments that will ensure that the young people, especially those who are coming out of school and may not have had the background that their parents had, where hard work was the order of the day. Today's technology is the order of the day. You heard Minister Gopi Singh talk about what's happening at the Agro Park, where people have taken ownership by lease to do vertical farming and hydroponics. That's what agriculture is today. It's not as it always was, where you have a cutlass and a hoe and you sweat and you don't want to do that and hurt your muscles. Nowadays, it's on the computer. You don't even have to have soil. You have a substrate. If Minister Cummings was here, he would be telling you all about what we're doing in the youth development program with shade houses, where you control the environment in which you're growing, giving the plants only just what they need and getting the correct fertilizer, the correct humidity, and if you see how they grow. And of course, if you're talking about processing, that is what you need to ensure a continuous, sustained supply of high volume and high quality of raw material, which then ends up in beautifully prepared bottles, in packages, and it can be said, made in Trinidad and Tobago, processed in Moruga, processed in Bois-Jaja, processed in La Rufin, processed in Kachip. That is what we're talking about. So we have possibilities. You have opportunities. These investments are not to be taken lightly. They are significant outlays. This idea to come to fruition in phase one was almost $70 million. I think it was $66 million you spent on this. But that is money well spent. That is money that identifies a future. That is money invested in the diversification effort of the nation. And that money would have come from the energy sector or your taxes. That's where it would have come from. But you reinvest it in this way, and if you use it the way it could be used, then that $100 million, that $70 million will multiply and multiply and multiply and give us a future that many hadn't thought of. That's what vision is about. So ladies and gentlemen, I am particularly pleased to be here with you. I was here in the beginning. I'm here with you at the handing over. And I want to come back, God willing, when something is happening out there, because I love kingfish. I love fresh fish. You can't eat better than eating from the seas around Trinidad and Tobago. Healthy and tasty. And I have a good idea who prepares the meal down in these parts. We have some women and one or two men down here who have the culinary skills. And we expect that you will want to show them off to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't know that there was a restaurant somewhere just on the river in Moruga. It was my grandson, 7 years old, saw the advertisement on his grandmother's phone and insisted they had to go to lunch down somewhere in Mayari where they sell grilled fish and whatever. Because nowadays you can mark it off your phone in a way that you couldn't do before. So you have a business down here that sells that sort of thing, and you put that on somebody's phone. Before you know it, everybody's beating apart down here. All you have to do is to ensure that they know when they come that you're there. So you want to survive sustainable service, and the area will develop. I look forward to phase 2. I understand that sometime in March we should be in a position to award a contract to the contractor to build in the sea phase 2, where the vessels will be protected, and that bit of construction will be the final facility to make this fully operational. And say to the people of the South Coast who see the ocean as the place where they could make their mark, and I want to come back, because I may not be in government, but my friends will be. So ladies and gentlemen, let us say thanks to all those who worked on this project. Let us say thanks to those who took the opportunity to step forward when it appears as though it was too difficult to do. And let us say thanks to those who allocated the resources, because as one Jamaican Prime Minister said, it doesn't matter how you care, it takes cash to care. And your government has ensured that you have got your portion from the national budget that started this project, and we will end it with great fanfare. So as we say that, thank you very much. And as the young lady said in her poem today, Moruga is my country. Thank you.
And it was easy to see you demonstrate the whole government approach that you explained to us as you went through all of your career happenings, if you will. We did see the geologists make a reappearance when you spoke passionately about the roadworks. And of course, letting us know about your fisheries history, we understand the passion with which you speak about this piece here in Moruga, and we thank you. I will say, from my seat, I could see that you were one of the few persons, Shakira, to conjure a smile out of the PM in your performance, which is why he referenced it so much. No pressure. But at this point, we have even more entertainment and talent, as today's event embodies the true representation of Moruga. Every performer you would have seen on the stage today comes from the bosom of the community. And Miss Shannon Edwards is no stranger to the entertainment industry and countries across the globe, as she makes us tremendously proud, displaying her talent on our national instrument, the steel pan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome a performance from Miss Shannon Edwards. ladies and gentlemen, our national instrument. Thank you very much, Shannon. And I saw the feet tapping in the front row, so we're getting somewhere. Yes. Of course, with all the formalities concluded, we have come to the end of the proceedings, and therefore join me in welcoming Mr. Dennis Haritaran, the Manager of Engineering of the National Infrastructure Development Company, to deliver this evening's vote of thanks. A round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Senator the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, Minister of Works and Transport, Senator the Honorable Kazim Hussain, Minister of Agriculture and Land and Fisheries, Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Spoon, Minister of Trade and Industry, Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Nayan Gaspidoli, Senator the Honorable Donna Cock, other members of the Cabinet, Ms. Sonia Yearwood Francis, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport, Ms. Niala Dwarka Ali, Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries, Mr. Herbert George, Chairman of the Board of Directors of National Infrastructure Development Company, and members of the Board of Directors of NITCO, Ms. Esther Farmer, President of NITCO, representatives from the various communities, groups, and Village Council of Moruga, members of the fishing community, consultants and contractors, specially invited guests, members of the media, all other protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and privilege to stand before you today as we celebrate the delivery of this key infrastructure. The late Dr. Eric Williams frequently spoke about the strength of the nation depends on the strength of its citizens. These words remind us that development is a collective endeavor, one that requires the dedication and collaboration of every individual, organization, and community. Today, we are gathered to celebrate the landmark achievement of this mission, the construction of the Gran Chemin fishing facility in Moruga. This project is a symbol of commitment to economic growth, sustainable development, and empowerment of the people, a tangible manifestation of the goals outlined in our government's Vision 2030 Plan, the National Development Strategy. In acknowledging the leadership and collaboration, first and foremost, I extend my deepest gratitude to the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of the Trinidad and Tobago, whose vision leadership has been the driving force of this initiative. This project, as part of the National Development Strategy, reflects your steadfast dedication to the advancement of our nation. I also extend my heartfelt appreciation to the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, Minister of Works and Transport, for your invaluable contribution and support to NITCO. In recognizing technical and operational excellence, the NITCO's Board of Directors and President deserve special recognition for their technical and managerial expertise, which have been critical in guiding this project to completion. Similarly, the technical and executive team of the Ministry of Works and Transport, including the Permanent Secretary and their Coastal Protection Unit, have provided unwavering support. Your collective effort have been the backbone of this initiative. To the FIDIC engineering team, Jameson and Associates, and your relentless dedication and technical prowess have been pivotal in ensuring the success of this project. Additionally, Karen Group, Stages, Coastal Dynamics, Aaron Bush, they continued their work in development of the seaside infrastructure. I would like to acknowledge the invaluable contribution of our contractors and suppliers, including Berkeley Contractor Services, Augustus McMeo, Palo Boys Enterprise Limited, Bihari Electrical Sales and Services, Anthony James Plumbing Maintenance and Construction Services Limited, Michael Falb Limited, Mine Seekers Limited, and many others. Through your hard work, professionalism, and commitment, you have moved an idea to a tangible asset for the community. Thanks very much. In showing thanks to the statutory bodies and support team, NITCO gratitude extend to the statutory bodies, TNTEC, WASA, EMA, and many others whose ancillary supports and approval have been indispensable in the project's success. Your collaboration has ensured that this facility meets the highest standard of safety, sustainability, and efficiency. A special thanks to the corporate communication team of NIDCO and MOUT for organizing today's event with such precision and care. To all departments within NIDCO, thank you for your enthusiasm, hard work, and unwavering support to this project. Your contribution and dedication are deeply appreciated. To Devon Rampasad from NIDCO, the project manager, your relentless effort and oversight have been instrumental in navigating challenges and ensuring the completion of this project. You extended yourself well beyond what was expected, and your effort did not go unrecognized. In acknowledging divine guidance and community support, above all, I give thanks to Almighty God, for with Him, all things are possible. It is my prayer that His blessings continue to guide and protect this facility and all those who use it. To the community of Moruga and fishermen, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to your patience, support, and cooperation throughout this process. This facility is not just for you, it is a testament of your resilience and a beacon of hope for future generations. And thanks to the performers, Moruga Secondary School, Shakira Burton, and Shannon Edwards for those wonderful performances. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand on the brink of a new era of fishing and fishing processing in Moruga, let us remember that achievement is a collective victory. It is a testament to what we can accomplish when we work together with shared vision and purpose. And thank you all for being here today. Your presence underscored the significance of this project and the bright future it represents. May you all be blessed, and may you return safely to your homes and office. Thank you, and may God continue to bless our nation.
Allow me to extend, if you will, on the gratitude that was expressed by Mr. Haritaran, because you have been an incredibly beautiful audience. But my time is up. So I say thank you very much for being a great audience, but I now invite Dr. Rowley and the ministers who are present, as well as the board members of NEDCO, to join us for the unveiling ceremony that will take place at the front of the building. Immediately following that, we will have the ribbon cutting, and the unveiling and ribbon cutting will continue to be brought to you live on TTT and other media networks. But at the moment, we will ask that you, the rest of the audience, allow the Prime Minister and other ministers to make their exit first. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a delight. The celebrations will continue. And for those of you who are listening on Talk City, you will be hearing drumming brought to you by the Phoenix Boys as they perform to usher the ministers and Prime Minister towards the ceremonial sites as we speak. While that happens, we encourage you others to remain seated. To narrate a bit of what is happening, once the ministers and the executives arrive at the plaque revealing location, other patrons, you are encouraged to visit as well. So currently, you will be seeing all of this live on TTT and listening on Talk City. So to give a bit of commentary, what you are seeing, of course, is continued cultural display of Trinidad and Tobago. Continued cultural displays from all throughout the Moruga community, including Moko Jumbies, Tassa drumming, and more. Following the unveiling of the commemorative plaque, the ribbon cutting ceremony will officially open this facility, at least in phase 1. We encourage you to take your pictures, share them across media, and continue to enjoy the rest of your evening. the ceremonial unveiling will take a few moments, and we encourage you to continue to pay attention to the process. Unveiling complete, we now proceed to the very front of the building, where we will have the official ribbon cutting. Of course, the plaque itself will remain open so that patrons can read the dedication and understand the significance of today's opening. The TASA and the Mokujumbis continue to escort the ministers as they make their way to the front of the building to officially open this facility.
This is TTT. Live for local.
50 by 20, 50 by 25.